Chug, chug, beer, lads.
I've not had a can of Monster in like a week. Right, this is a hard one to start.
With it being Mental Health Awareness Week, we decided we would do a little thing. It's something we've spoken about a fair bit before as well.
When I feel when you work like in a creative industry, it's often a little bit easier to talk about kind of how you're feeling, rather than if you know I've worked in warehouse environments and stuff like that where it's like Ethan said like he's the you know like there's one girl that works in there, you know, and it's like the men are very much men. That leads to suicide being one of the highest or the highest cause of male death.
Under, like, I think it's like something ridiculous, like 27 or something horrible like that, wasn't it?
So it's not talked about particularly well, and it's not talked about much at all. It's certainly not talked about very much in sport.
And I don't even think it's just men, is it? It's just a taboo across everything, isn't it? You know, I've been looking at my friends that I follow, you know, you guys in the mountain biking industry, a lot of girls have been posting about this, telling their stories, and I had no idea, lots of them, and I've been looking through them today and sort of having a chat with a few of you. And it kind of worried me that it's so many people and it's so common, although I expected that.
Yeah, I kind of expect
every time
it.
I'm surprised.
The thing that started this for us is, you know, I love the internet. I'm sure you know that. Everything from anime titties to
hentai. That's it. It's
That's
like
it.
a little special meme.
But what I'm scrolling through Instagram.
Plus memes.
I love memes. Scrolling through the old Instagram, see someone I like, a friend of mine, puts up a picture, and it's this picture. This is an antidepressant.
This is shit.
This is shit. Really, it's probably...
This is a bike, and these are tablets to take when you need to take them.
I'd like to say...
treat a condition that you have.
If you had like a broken leg, no one really judges you on it.
Go out on your bike, it'll fix it.
And I had this conversation with Ethan, and he said there's two great sides to it for him. He said, one, that he can kind of see where people are coming from, and me too, that I always feel better if I have some exercise, and riding my bike makes me feel good. However, this meme's definitely made by someone who doesn't have depression, and is confusing it with feeling a bit sad.
Well, we actually have one of our friends actually comment very on this exact thread we posted last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he literally said, I can't comment on this because I've never suffered with depression. He said, so I actually don't know. He did. No, it's him who posted it. I actually didn't know this was a thing, and he was really humble about it. He was really good about it. But he was like, I'm privileged enough. I never have had depression. I've never had to struggle with anything like that before. So a lot of it is simply a misunderstanding, but it's really dangerous and damaging to those who do.
And there's like the other thing is like even like the wording and structure and stuff like how are you? Oh, I'm feeling a bit depressed today. You could mean that like you're just feeling sad.
Are you sad?
You're sad. And it's, actually, you know, we've had friends where they've it's like they've suffered from depression, and they've contacted work and said, look, my doctor has said this, and it's like, oh yeah, they're not going to be in today because they're feeling a bit sad. It's much more sinister and scary than just being a bit sad. So
actually, off the back of that, I was talking to someone literally just today on the phone, and they were having a chat with their boss, and their boss he gives them an attendance bonus to go to work. So like, if you're sick, you don't get your attendance bonus. Attendance bonus is a certain amount, so it's a bit immoral, but
my dad's company, you can like take holiday on a sick day.
It is what it is, and it's kind of one of those things. This person suffers with poor mental health at times and depression, and they had quite a bit of time off for depression for work, and this is just an office environment as well. And they had their thingy deducted from it, their bonus deducted. Okay, fair enough. It's a sick day. They did it for that reason. But then later, this person was poorly with like a stomach bug. Had a day and a half off. Initially had the attendance bonus removed. So, oh, you're sick. Seemed fair enough. It's like it's a bit of a kick in the teeth. I can't help being sick, but you also can't help being depressed. In a conversation with the boss later. And again, I had this conversation literally today. The boss turned around to him and said, look, I've decided I am going to give you your attendance bonus because you're actually ill this time. And he goes, not actually ill, but he goes, you know what I mean? You know, like really ill. You know, other than the other times when you know, and he sort of kept on stumbling on his words, but he's pretty much said, well, you're depressed, so it's fake, but because you were physically being sick in my office, it's all right, I'll give you 200 quid. And he did not mean it with any malice.
If you actually suffer from depression, all you would actually hear is it reinforced that you're useless and weak and not capable of doing things, which is kind of one of the things that it does do to you. And talking about like things that like where it catches you. So last Friday, like it was Thursday night. I said to you I wasn't feeling well. I was like, I'm not feeling well, like not physically well, and we're going like, is it like has hay fever got bad? Is it blah blah blah? And I said, no, it's like a pain in my chest. And we're going through all these things like, have you got like trapped a nerve in your back? And I was no. I was like, it feels like
it's not your arm, Jordan. It's not a heart attack. So where are we going with this? You know, like,
I was going, my right arm hurt.
And
it was like, but it says your left arm. So don't worry about it. We're going backwards and forwards. And he's like, I'll go to the doctor tomorrow and check it out. Like, yeah, I can't.
Me and Dad, make sure you go to. I'm on my way now.
Yeah, and then on Monday, well, no, on Friday, was it Friday morning? You're like, are you going to go to the doctor's? Like, yeah, I'm there. I'm there. I've got like a problem. And basically, I thought like I had like a crushing weight on my chest, like literally here, and going across my shoulder onto my back, and it felt like someone was pushing down. And I was really worried that my blood pressure had gone through the roof. I've had problems with that before, like with stress and stuff. Just, you know, going out all over the place. I had like one of my blood vessels in my eye had gone, and it was like quite horrible.
That's the rage.
Yeah. And I thought, oh my God, you know, like I'm gonna have a heart attack. You know, I'm near. You know, well, I say nearly 40. I'm not really. I'm 36 or 37.
That's nearly, isn't it?
Nearly enough. Go to the doctors, and they just basically say, you're having a panic attack. And I was like, yeah, but
But can't you see I'm not panicked?
I'm not panicked. And they're like, yeah, your heart rate is 58 BPM, but that's not how it works. And they're like, are you under any stress? And I was like, well, funny thing
kind
that
of in this little company that we, you know, kind of have a few things happening with at the moment, and etc.
You know, you obviously know we both have a day job. We're still running the business between us. It's quite heavy duty work, and we both got families and young kids.
That really sounds like the world's tiniest violin, but it really isn't. It's just we know, you know, our stresses are no worse than anyone else's. It's just that this is our stress at this time.
Yeah. So the thing is, like,
tiniest violin.
One of the things is I was really stressed, and you knew me when I first left my job, and I had a terrible time with a really stressful job. Yeah. So doing what we do now is supposed to be more fun and relaxing.
I mean, it is, but it's a different stress, isn't it? I mean, that's the thing. I think that's the thing that people forget, and that kind of almost goes back to that meme as well. It is a different stress. I love what I do. I wouldn't change it. I would definitely change not working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
But out of the 2 I would choose running sick time and time again. But it's a different stress, and it's a huge one because it feels like a personal responsibility.
Yeah, you don't want to let people down, and that's where things like depression also really mess with you, because you don't want to let people down, and especially as our generations kind of slip in between the millennial and the, you know, like, and Generation X and Boomers and stuff. Like, we're a little bit too old.
Just got that biscuit song in my head now. Generation X, my generation, of course. That's why it's called my generation.
But the difference is we're kind of still on the cusp of trying to stiff upper lip our way through a lot of things.
Literally just waving at neighbours. We're not that insanely popular that people walk past. We just have nice neighbours.
You know, there's still the phrase.
It's a social expectation again. It's what we were talking about in our, because we unsurprisingly again we have a team group chat, and we were talking about a few things, and it's social stigmas and
man up.
Man up.
There is social stigmatism about it, and those sporting activities do make you feel better.
Get your brain synapses firing, all those exciting things. They don't cure
depression. And I don't want anyone to start feeling like mountain biking isn't a good environment for people who have these kind of issues, because
could you imagine someone new to the sport
That's
going
the
through their
first
feeds
thing they
immediately,
see.
and they see that and they think, right, okay, I'm out, I can't do this.
Also, imagine you post that meme, right, and you don't have any like health problems at all. Of course, you know, like you're doing okay, and you want to give out this meme as like a positive message, like don't be sad, get on your bike.
Get on your bike, it'll be
What
fine.
what if someone sees that and goes, oh, actually, I don't need to take my medication anymore, which has been prescribed by a
Qualified professional who's studied for at least 7 years of their life to get to where they are.
They're not going to take them anymore, and then they have a really, really bad run of stuff.
Or do what we've done, you know, like, yeah, you know, as we were saying, it does make you feel better. When we were riding loads, we were both coping a lot better.
Yeah.
I've not ridden since December. You've been lucky and had a couple of rides recently, but up until then it was literally December as well.
Yeah, even then it's been kind of, it's not been the level, like,
we haven't ridden together, and this is a big key part of our relationship is we ride together. It's a big, like, we get out every stress because we'll shout and throw things and basically act like kids for a whole day. Act. Yeah, because I'm not a kid. I'm not quite, well, I'm a little more fragile than a child, I suppose. But, you know, that's the point.
It is important that you can't, like, you know, we get to ride like 4 times a week, and it was like nuts every single time, and then it's like you have to trade those days so you can do stuff.
Yeah, and then as soon as you stop, or in the case of the people we're talking about with the medication have stopped the medication, in this instance when they take that person's advice, if they break an ankle or they bruise themselves or even have to, I don't know, just have a really busy period of time and they can't ride,
how are they going to cope with it? It's going to be difficult. The repercussions can be pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Difficult, I think, is a small word, isn't it, really, for what it actually could mean. Yeah. And again, these are worst case scenarios. You kind of have to think about worst case scenarios when you're posting things. And okay, maybe us more than, you know, sort of individual profiles, because we have a certain social obligation to.
Which is strange for us to get you. Is strange for us to get used to.
Yeah, we're quite reckless, and we don't mean it in a. We don't mean it in a bad way at all. Like, it is all tongue-in-cheek stuff, but really that tongue-in-cheek stuff, a lot of the time, is very inappropriate. And if you don't know us, it is dangerous, and we're aware of that. And we've, I wouldn't say we've not changed at all, but we've adapted how we present ourselves. And if we are to put something across in such a way, I had explained to someone today who took us wrong, didn't I? Yeah. You know, he was rightly so. He was upset about something. And he worded something to us, and you know, I've had a little chat with him, and you know, basically got to a position where we both understood where we were.
We had a situation before where someone was like, "How can I trust to buy something from a company that says it doesn't give a f***?" And I was trying to explain, we don't give a f*** what other companies think. We don't give a f*** about people who don't care about us. We don't give a f*** about what people think we should be doing, but we do give a f*** about you. And we do give a f*** about making bikes. In fact, we give a hell of a f*** about making bikes. That's why we That's why we gave up our life and pursued it. Do you know what? People are like, oh, you're going to sell out, you're going to do this and that. Do you know what? That's not what... Making mountain bikes is not the way of making money. There's far easier ways. Drugs. Porn.
Or just commuting to London every day and doing a job.
Or just going to
doing a job. And the thing is, I see people on the train every day, you know, whenever we go to London, and they're, you know, dressed in their suits, and they're looking a bit sad. And you know, these people are far stronger mentally than I am. For the fact that they're going into a job that often, from talking to them and knowing people they don't like, they really hate the commute. Who likes commuting? But they're doing it for their family, and they're earning a lot of money,
loads of money.
But they're not able to enjoy that because they're commuting and they're spending it at a time. Like that's how to make money, and that's also like that.
But that also like that. That might be something else, you know, like the people struggle with is if you love riding, but you have a real job. Let's say like a real job. You know, there's hours and hours and hours of your week. You're basically kind of a paid slave. Someone gives you money to buy your time. Yeah. And you must do what they say in that time. Tied
up in this sort of, you know, nice idea that you're providing a service or whatever. But, you know, on the basic things, it's slavery with more steps. Yeah. I've just quoted Rick and Morty. On the most basic form, as you said, someone's paying you for their time to do what you want.
And I think there's a load of pressure on people now as well, is that with social media, it's very, very easy to give a kind of edited version of your life. And do you know what? We've tried not to do that. And people used to pick holes in our perceived weaknesses. When a prototype broke, we'd go, it's just broke.
Yeah, it's actually sitting there by the camera. You know, literally up there in the moment.
If it's broke, it's broke. It's funny. And they go, ha, their prototype broke. It's like, yeah, but that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
You're supposed to break it. That's how you know that it's going right. If you're not breaking prototypes, you're not trying hard enough.
Or you're severely overbuilding them.
Yeah.
I think one thing though that is worth talking about very briefly, and kind of, I struggle with any of these weeks sometimes, because it becomes a real focus for that period of time, and then not afterwards. And I think especially with this particular week, this one being, if you just search the hashtag on Instagram, you'll see how massive it is. Support each other throughout the rest of the year. Remember these people that you saw, and also imagine, these are probably only 20%, 10% of the people who actually suffer from it. Look after them. Look after each other. Look out for the signs. You know the signs. If someone's acting a bit different, if someone's a bit distant, if someone's acting perfectly fine, just watch out for them. Have each other's backs. It's a really nasty world out there at times, and it's really hard to get up in the morning some days. Have each other's backs. Just, you don't have to do anything a lot of the time, do you?
I tell you what as well, from the other side of it, so Tim's talking about people picking you up. Also try and learn to put your hand out and ask for help.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing in the world. But you know what? Your friends are simple people. Like, they don't like to assume...
Mine are.
They don't like to assume that the worst is happening to you. They want to think that everything's fine, and just if you're not fine, tell your mates.
Yeah.
Let them know. They might take the piss at first because they should do, because they're your mates and that's the right thing to do. But really, like, you should know that you can ask your friends for help.